Hi guys, so we have 7 planets in Aries, and one of the most significant things that are in Aries with all this planet lineup is Chiron. Chiron is very significant. Chiron is in the first house, Aries, right? And that's all about self. That's about healing oneself. That's about finding the way out. That's about finding balance. That's about letting go of the hurts that we have endure in this lifetime, right? And the situations that held us back from becoming our greatest selves, right? It's almost like, hey, you need to heal this. You need to realize the issues that you're causing here. And it starts by healing whatever made you, feel inadequate, whatever made you feel, not worthy, whatever made you feel reckless too, right? Because we got to look at both sides of it. Some of us will feel not worthy. Others will feel overinflated egos. And it's about healing those parts of us that are not balanced, that are not right, that we obtain during experiences that we have had here, right? And then we have these 7 planets. We got Saturn, the most significant one there, right, playing a role, and Neptune. Neptune is all about illusions, things that we have held on to that they're not, they're illusions. They're not balanced. They're not stability. They're false, right? Looking into false things, looking to things that we continue to do that, bring in illusions in our lives, right? And it's seeing the truth in regards to all the veils that are in front of us and realizing what things within me do I need to change? What things within me do I need to, come to terms with? What things in me do I need to do so that I could create a better life as I move forward, and so that I can make better choices? Okay, so we got these 7 planets. We got Mercury's there, that's communication, looking at what's tangible, what's real, what's truth, and what's facade, what is an illusion, what is not being real. It's looking at life, spirituality, looking at the government, looking at ourselves, and looking at people around us, and finding, hey, what are certain things that this individual brings to my life that are false, and what are certain things that this individual has that are good, and can we work with it or not? It's like looking at everything with a, I'm getting like a like with a magnifying glass. You're looking at things carefully, right? And you're trying to understand situations, you're trying to understand people, but most of all, you're trying to understand yourself and how you allow certain situations to continue, and how you allowed yourself to make the mistakes you made, right? But then healing, it needs to be healed. That's what Chiron is all about. Healing our actions, healing our karma, bringing healing and justice to things. Because you know what? Saturn is all about stability, right? Saturn is all about doing things in a structured way. Saturn is about finding ourselves, right? And you got all these powerful planets in Aries, and they're lined up because action needs to be taken where we move forward more with stability, truth, and honesty, and see the illusions. We need to be aware of our illusions in our lives, and in the illusions or the lies that we have fell into, or the illusion or the lies that we continue to push forward when we know it's not right. It's not right for humanity. It's not right for us, okay? And looking at governments and systems and seeing, are they balanced? Are they good for humanity, or are they destroying humanity? And what kind of issues are they causing to the human race, right? And it's looking at all those structures, looking at that, looking at government, looking at ourselves, and seeing where we allowed the lies, the illusions to, penetrate into our life, or penetrate into our lives and take over. And how do we now start to rectify that? All right, so it's realizing the truth within everything. This is what this whole thing is about, is breaking down of illusions, breaking down of the lies, finding more stability, karma playing itself out, okay, definitely in a big way with all these planets in that energy with Saturn, and Saturn being karmic. Yeah, got a lot of karmic energy here, a lot of karma. This is the timeline we're in. I've said that before, I will say it again. If we've lied in the past, if we brought up systems that were fake, if we did things that were not truthful, well, we're going to be faced with it. And we're going to be faced with it because we're going to have to make a choice. Do we change it, or do we stay stuck forever in that cycle and have a hard life? You get to decide this. You're in control of your life. But your choices is what leads you to your burdens or to your stability. It could go either way, right? Your choices leads you to your lies or to your truth, and you're the only one who can decide that, right? And as long, we have governments, we have companies, we have structures, and we have to look at those governments, those structures, those companies, those states. All that has to be looked at and see, is it stable? Is it moving with the truth? Is it for the people, or is it for something else? Is it filled in illusions and lies, or is it built on stability, structure, truth? So this is what we're looking at. That's why Neptune is with Saturn. If you don't see it, I don't know how else to show it to you. But you got Saturn, you got Neptune, you got the sun and the moon. And the sun, what? Illuminates. The moon shows you the way through the darkness, right? The moon also consists of illusions, right? It consists of lies, just like Neptune. There's illusions, lies, fantasies, right? And Neptune, there's also, seeing the truth in those illusions, lies, and fantasies, right? And there's Saturn, who plays more of a stronger energy in showing you, hey, what is the stability? What is the truth in this? And how do we move forward? Okay, so this is where we're at. This is why we got the strongest planets now lined up there. I mean, there are all the planets have some strength, but when they're together like that, makes them even stronger, because it pulls that energy there and makes us, it pushes us to look, to see the truth within the illusions, within the lies, within the things that we ourselves have put into our existence. Are they truthful? Are they honest? Are they stability? Are they going to help us create stability? And if they're not going to help us create stability, then break it down, let it go, and bring structure back in, right? And it's about seeing the truth in the things that we do and being honest to ourselves and others. It's about following that path of stability and growth. It's about reaping the karma, whether it be good karma or bad karma, depending on your choices in life. So you have to figure things out. Am I doing this in a balanced way? Am I doing this for everyone, or am I doing it for selfish reasons? Look into your reasons for doing things. Am I following along with something that has never given me balance in my life? Am I feeling stuck in things that have hurt me, and how do I get out of it? Because that's also figuring yourself out, knowing, hey, I had a hard childhood, but do I continue in this cycle? How do I break out of this cycle? I had a hard relationship and I find myself stuck. Why do you find yourself stuck? And it's breaking free from those illusions, right? Breaking free from those patterns, and not going into the same patterns over and over again, where you let go of someone good, but you find someone worse, and you start a life with them because you're following those same patterns that you needed to break free from. So all of this is coming up so that we can face it, so that we can look at it, and so that we can bring balance and healing into it, and so that we can be more honest as we move forward, even with governments, even with structures, even with companies, even within our own lives, even within ourselves. Who are we as a person? Are we balanced? Are we stable? Or are we constantly lying? Do we constantly create false narratives? What are we doing that is creating havoc in our own lives and in the lives of other people that we don't want to do, because we're karmically going to pay for it? Okay? And it's breaking through those illusions. That's why Neptune and Saturn are together. Breaking. Neptune has its good side, spirituality, becoming closer to the unknown, knowing that things are not exactly as they seem, right? And finding yourself, spiritually, emotionally, so that you can figure things out better, and listening to your intuition. But it also contributes to illusions and lies, right? And that's why Saturn comes in. Saturn can be kind of strict, right? Stubborn, stuck. But when it's stability, when it's moving in a balanced way, it creates a lot of positive movements forward. Love and light. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.